Okay, this is Keith Elliston. I'd like to welcome everyone to the monthly tranSMART community update call. We have set up things with the GoToWebinar. We'll be recording these meetings for offline viewing, and those recordings will be made available through the tranSMART Foundation website. Our agenda today is we'll give you some quick updates on the foundation, how things are moving forward, etc. Terry Weymouth will stand in for Peter Rice and give us an update on the tranSMART version 1.2 process and where we stand. Kevin Smith will give us some quick background on upcoming events, including the BioIT World Conference and the community meeting that we're planning for June. We'll have some announcements and any questions and comments from the community. Next. In terms of updates, I'd like to make an introduction. The foundation has added to our management team Rudy Potenzone, who has a lot of experience in marketing in the software space in this field, has joined the foundation. As you can see here, Rudy is a really seasoned veteran in the industry, working with companies going back in the chem informatics space, working recently with companies like Cambridge Soft, PerkinElmer, etc. Most recently, he was the VP of Product Strategy at PerkinElmer. He was also a key executive as Worldwide Pharma Industry Technology Strategist at Microsoft and was the president of Lion Biosciences in the U.S. I think Rudy and I first met back when he was working with MDL in the early days and working a lot in the chem informatics as well as the bioinformatics spaces. Rudy has a PhD and MS in macromolecular science from Case Western Reserve and a BS in biophysics. So let me quickly introduce Rudy, and Rudy, if you'd like to say a few things, that'd be fantastic. Is Rudy on there? Can we activate him, Kevin?
Rudy is on, and he's unmuted.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thanks, Keith. I'm thrilled to be joining tranSMART Foundation. I think that this is an extremely important development for the community, and I'm thrilled to be able to work with the team and all of you, and I look forward to meeting with everyone in our events as they happen. Thank you.
Fantastic. So Rudy will be taking on all the key marketing roles from the strategy and communications perspective, helping us with a lot of our thinking in the product management, product lifecycle spaces as well. And so those of you who are interact with the foundation on a regular basis will see Rudy coming online and joining us in a lot of what we do as a team. So we're very, very pleased to have Rudy join us, and welcome to the team, Rudy. Next slide, Kevin. Wanted to give a quick update on the membership program. We still are continuing to push through. Again, things are taking a bit longer here than I think was originally expected, but we are moving through. We have applications completed on the gold side from Pfizer. We'll have to change that from Recombinant to Converge Health, Kevin. Roche, Takeda, and Sanofi. I think we're still waiting on actually one of the ones there. On the bronze side, we've added Assurex, the Institute for Systems Biology, which Lee Hood heads up. Lee Hood is on the predecessor board of directors. And Johns Hopkins University has also joined. We have applications pending from Imperial College, from Oracle, from the University of Michigan, amongst others. Affiliate memberships that are in the works for eTrix and Traits. And we're working forward with board representation for both those members as well. And we should see a membership press release by the end of this month with all the key issues around that. We will also be holding our board elections by the end of this month. So the groups that have completed their applications will be part of the board election, and the new board will be seated in early April. So that's for everyone to keep in mind. If you haven't gotten your applications in, if your company has not done this and you want to participate, please do. In addition, as we go forward, we'll be seating the chairs and the committee members for the 3C committees, the code, the community, and content committees. And if you want to be engaged in those, please, again, get your applications in, get things set, and those committees will be convened in April as well. Next slide. From that, I wanted to hand over to Terry to give us a quick update on the version 1.2 development process. So Terry, are you available?
Can you hear me okay?
I hear you now, Terry.
All right, I'm here. So you've all seen this slide before, I presume. This was the plan that we set out at the Paris meeting for features to be included in 1.2. A number of these features represent substantial merges of code that have to take place, and we're moving along on the ones that you see in green. Next slide, Kevin. So the code merge that was started in the hackathon in Boston has been continuing. We've obtained additional public data, especially if the data needed to demo and test the new features. We are working on automating testing and quality assurance tests. We still have to get some tests for the new features, but that's being worked on. And obviously, as those features come online, we're going to have to create the list of actual features and create documentation for those. Next slide. Just to give people a sort of a technical view from the factory floor for what's happening this week and next. This is a view of the branches that need to be merged, that are where merge is undergoing, and most of those branches have been locally merged. That is, they've been merged on developers' desktops, but they haven't been all tested. And and we are now dealing with actually doing a first public merge. We have the Florian at Imperial College is working really hard to straighten out the mess, and actually just had a meeting this morning where we had a report of progress on that. We actually have a working version, which means that we can start working on the tests, and we're just working out some bugs in that. We expect to have that version working in about 3 weeks. And then it will be a lot of bug chasing and starting to merge in optional features. Next slide. I will turn this over to Kevin or Keith. I think this is a discussion about downstream hackathons.
Yep, I'll take that, Terry. Thanks. I'll also just point out to people that as we're going through this 1.2 development process, that this is a very complicated process. We've got code coming from, over a dozen different independent branches that are being merged together. So I think everyone should, certainly be aware of the complexity of that task. I think the team is working pretty hard on that, and my discussions with Terry, Peter, EK, etc. I think the process is actually going very, very well. In terms of the hackathon, we had a fantastic hackathon back in February that generated a lot of the advancements that we've seen made with respect to the version 1.2 integration. We are now planning a second hackathon, which we're calling the Alpha Release Hackathon, for April 8th to 10th in London. It'll be hosted by Imperial College. Participants there will include participants from the Hive, from Imperial College of London, from Converge Health by Deloitte, and others. If you have an interest in participating and are an active developer on these branches for version 1.2, please let me know or let Kevin Smith know, and we'll include you in the organizational aspects of this. Again, this will be a very directed and focused hackathon focused on generating the alpha release candidate for the version 1.2. I'll also point out that the last hackathon was graciously sponsored by Sanofi, who sponsored travel to fund people coming over to Boston, particularly from Europe, and that went very, very well. And we're looking for an additional sponsor or sponsors to help us fund the travel budget for this hackathon. Now, what we'll be doing is sending people from the Netherlands, from the Hive to London, as well as some developers from the Boston area and other areas. So the whole intent here is to make sure that we have a concentration of effort focused on getting the release candidate pulled together, and we're looking for sponsors to help with that. For any sponsorship information, please talk with me directly. Next slide. Do I turn this back to you, Terry, or would you like me to go through this? That sounds like a yes.
Sorry, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. The version 1.2 release plan, just to make sure that everybody's on board and up to date with where we are. In the release plan, we are working on developing a comprehensive test suite. So QA and QC is one of the really important elements of this development plan, and we're working with a number of different groups joining the community to help with this aspect. We have a number of remaining issues overall in terms of development resources, etc. I don't know, Terry, if you wanted to add to the remaining issues.
Yeah, just to say that we have put together a working group with people from Imperial, the Hive, and myself that's going to be working in a very focused way. So we'll get a better idea of what the development resources are needed as we start working through that process. But I think we've got troops on the ground, so to speak. Just, I think things are moving forward well.
Fantastic. I think it's also important to credit where credit is due that the E-Trix sponsor group at Imperial College is doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this, and Terry and Kevin from University of Michigan are also putting in a lot of time and effort on this. And we really appreciate the people that are really working on this. It's a volunteer effort from that perspective, and I think Terry and Peter in particular are doing a great job of putting this together with those teams. In terms of release planning, our plan remains as we've talked about in the past. We expect by the end of April, prior to the BioIT World Show, we'll have a 1.2 alpha release. And that means that we will freeze the features at the end of the hackathon in London. So after the 10th of April, there will be no new features incorporated. Everything will be focused on getting that alpha out. From that point on, we expect the middle of May to have a beta release. And then by June 20th, ahead of our next face-to-face community workshop in Philadelphia, we will have the version 1.2 production release, which will include the documentation, the testing, etc. So this is the plan that we've set out. We're still on track to keep this plan in mind, and so far so good. I think we're very positive in how this is developing and coming forward. Next slide. Upcoming events. Kevin, is this for you?
This is for me, so I'll take over for a bit here. As always, our monthly community update call is scheduled for the third Tuesday of each month. These are scheduled through November. The remaining dates between now and then are April 15, May 20, June 17, July 15, and into August, September, October, November. Those of you who are on the call that have already registered for our monthly community call, the registration has not changed. In terms of looking out over the next 3 months or so, the foundation and its community members are focused on the upcoming BioIT World conference that will be located in Boston, April 29 through May 1st. We'll go into a bit more detail of the activities around BioIT World in a few moments. We are actively planning the next face-to-face meeting to build upon the last face-to-face meeting that Sanofi hosted in Paris. As has been communicated previously, Janssen has graciously volunteered to host our June meeting at their Springhouse, Pennsylvania location. And then lastly, coming up in July, ISMB 2014 will take place in Boston, and the foundation is evaluating whether or not there are any activities that the foundation and the tranSMART community will participate in around that. More specifically, around BioIT World 2014, this slide, most of the content is not new. It's been shared on previous meetings, but as previously communicated, our pre-conference workshop is scheduled for Tuesday, April 29th, beginning at 12:30 in the afternoon, going for 3.5 hours to 4 o'clock. As part of that pre-conference workshop, Keith and other foundation leadership will provide an update on foundation-related activities to bring the community together. EK Gao will do an update on the tranSMART version 1.2 release, including a sneak peek at the alpha release that we are targeting for BioIT World. We now have corporate sponsorship lined up with BT Global, IDBS, and Gene Data. And then Sanofi, Harvard, University of Michigan, in partnership with Johns Hopkins University, will be making presentations on implementations of tranSMART at their respective organizations. The pre-conference workshop is available for registration. The link is located here at the bottom of the slide. Terry, if you could post that into the chat window, people can grab that and register for the pre-conference workshop. We will also use our normal communication channels to share that link out with the community at large.
Can do.
On Wednesday, April 30th, we have a number of presentations during the day as part of the BioIT World Conference. This information has been previously shared, where Michael Braxenthaler will provide an update on the evolving community activities around the platform. Peter Henstock will present an update from Pfizer on their work around genome-wide association visual analyzer. And then the foundation is working very closely with Converge Health by Deloitte, which is the rebranded Recombinant by Deloitte, to host an evening community meeting that will be focused and built around version 1.2. On Thursday, May 1st, we will continue to see presentations made around tranSMART as part of the BioIT World Conference. Jay Bergeron from Pfizer will provide an update around eTrix and the work that is going on in IMI. And lastly, Angela Gaudet from Pfizer will make a presentation on their enhancements to enable rapid exploratory analysis and hypothesis generation. Next, we'll move to the community update for the upcoming face-to-face meeting in June. As previously communicated, the dates selected are June 24 through 26. Janssen R&D has graciously hosted or volunteered to host the community meeting at its Springhouse campus. We will model the community meeting after the Paris face-to-face meeting, where there will be streams around code, content, and community. In our early planning discussions, which we are now taking to an active level, around content and community, what we are planning to do is engage community speakers who can really attest to the real-world experiences that tranSMART is bringing to organizations around their scientific discovery efforts, their pre-competitive data sharing activities, and other value add. The real idea here is to really use the face-to-face meeting to really promote and really spread the awareness of how the community at large is using tranSMART, so that at individual organizations we have a better understanding of how tranSMART is really making a difference, and hopefully will provide an opportunity for you to be able to understand who you can engage with to really make the value of tranSMART at your organization even better. Around the code stream and hackathon, we are looking to build upon the previous hackathon sessions at earlier community meetings, where there are both structured and unstructured sessions. And we also are talking about this idea of community-endorsed coding challenges linked to themes. And so you'll be hearing more about that in the coming weeks. The organizing committee for the June face-to-face meeting includes the following individuals. This may not be a complete list at this point, but those that are actively involved include Brian Athey on behalf of the foundation, Bob Boland, John Bowles, and Jonathan Cornaby from Janssen J&J, Keith Elliston and E.K. Gao from the tranSMART Foundation, Carolyn Kennedy from J&J, David Peruk from Sanofi, who was very instrumental in organizing the Paris meeting, as well as myself. We are planning to have a registration site, just as we did for the Paris meeting, that will be accessible through Eventbrite, where we will post a preliminary agenda, logistics, and other information that will be pertinent to your registering for the upcoming face-to-face meeting. We are planning to make that registration site available on or around April 1st. So those represent the near-term tranSMART related events. Keith, do you want to sort of take this next bit on the one announcement that we're making today?
Yep, I'll take that on, Kevin. So one of the things that we like to do here with our community calls is help the community come together, and I want to bring up the opportunity for people to use this forum for announcing activities around and related to tranSMART in the field. Also, if people have particular topics of interest that they would like to present to the community, please let us know. One particular event that's come to our attention that we're pretty excited about is a new meeting that's coming up, Bridging the Brain Disease Knowledge Gap by Orion Bionetworks. So on April 4th, there will be an all-day event that is to establish a forum for dialogue between various constituencies in the pharma, academia, with patient and community leaders, talking about progress and roadblocks to progress in brain disease translational research. And in particular, a focus on the role of systems biology and computational modeling as a strategy to address them. Many of you may know that Orion Bionetworks is a nonprofit entity that was established to build a large-scale data warehouse and computational models for multiple sclerosis. And in fact, is one of the key adopters of the tranSMART version 1.1. And they're moving forward with an Orion 2.0. And this is a topic of discussion in terms of how they move forward that they've organized together. So agenda topics will be systems biology and computational models, basically the next step to organizing your data in tranSMART. Topics around knowledge engineering, and in particular the use and integration of patient-powered networks. You can register for this using Reg Online, so the link is there, https://www.regonline.com/brain-modeling. And if you have any particular questions about this, you can ask me, or you can contact Magali Haas, who is the CEO of Orion Bionetworks. Is Magali online? I don't know if she could make it.
No, she is not online today.
Yeah. Again, I think Ryan is doing some really foundational work in translational research and in systems biology. A very active user of the tranSMART platform, working with a number of the key partners in the community, with Deloitte, with Thomson Reuters, with Rancho Biosciences, the Accelerated Cure Project, etc. So this is something quite interesting, and I think everyone, if you can, should try to attend. Next slide, Kevin. I think other than that, I'd like people to to take advantage of our monthly forum. If you have any particular suggestions for topics that you'd like to have covered, for things you'd like to hear in terms of discussion, announcements you would like to have made, please let us know. We do update our marketing calendar on a regular basis. We'll be reviewing that with people as we do with our events here. But if there are any particular items of interest, please contact us at this email address. You can also contact Kevin Smith or myself directly if that works a bit better for you.
Keith, there are a number of comments from Gil in the question window.
Okay, my question window is full of lots of things. Let me grab those. Thanks, Terry. Okay. For the content committee, besides data sharing, we should explicitly invite and evaluate analytical methods. Absolutely. Engaging the FDA and tranSMART reviews of methods and guidance for research has long been viewed by us as a key role for tranSMART to add value. To separate the understanding and acceptance of specific analytic methods from review of NDA evidence or drug at FDA. Otherwise, a submitting company may face a double jeopardy review, etc. Gil, those are excellent points. I think for the content committee, and I think this is a great point to bring out, is we are organizing the 3C committees, and I'll just reiterate that the content committee is co-chaired by Brian Apey on behalf of the foundation and Siramon Oshiron from Thomson Reuters. And we are forming a series of working groups under these committees that will address particular topics of interest. The community committee is co-chaired by Kevin Smith and Sherry Cowell from Sanofi. And one of the key things in terms of the working groups that are ongoing there is a working group on the marketplace, which Michael Braxton-Taylor of the foundation is coordinating as well. And then finally, we have the code committee, which is co-chaired by Ike Go on behalf of the foundation, and Jay Bergeron from Pfizer. If you have any particular topics of interest, working groups you'd like to suggest, if you'd like to participate in these committees, please contact the foundation co-chairs, and they will make sure that you're engaged and involved in this as we go forward. But those are excellent suggestions there from Gil. I see a quick question from Siramon. For BioIT, there will be one more tranSMART talk on May 1st from 12:05 to 12:35. Do you see this, Kevin?
Yes, I do see it now, yes.
A luncheon presentation sponsored by Thomson Reuters. The title is BioSmart, a workflow-based tranSMART system enabling scientists for fast and reliable genomic analysis, by Will Lojing, Director of Computational Biology at Boehringer Ingelheim. Excellent. So we'll have a nice presentation there as well to add to the list, and we'll put that on our marketing calendar. Thank you, Samuel. And Brian reiterates that we're looking for members for the content committee. If you have an interest, please contact Brian and Cyril. Are there other questions that we have there? Anybody want to put their hand up and make any comments or suggestions?
We've got a question on the board.
Oh, there you go.
So Keith, why don't I take that question?
Please, Kevin.
The foundation is in the process of posting the monthly community call recordings to YouTube, and our goal is within a week or so to make those available through the tranSMART Foundation website. And what we'll do once those recordings are available for viewing, we will post out a communication to the tranSMART Foundation tranSMART Discuss Google group. We'll also post an announcement on the LinkedIn community group, as well as Foundation targeted email. So again, the recordings of the monthly community calls will be made available via YouTube, and we'll announce that within the next week or so.
Fantastic. In terms of additional things, let's see, another note here from Gil. Yes, that's a good point, Gil. So Gil is making the point that we're planning on having a tranSMART Foundation leadership meeting of the new board members and other associated leaders in the foundation in Boston on the evening of April 29th. That'll be following the BioIT World Pre-Conference event. So there'll be an email going out by the end of this week to the group of potential new board members that will be announcing this and giving you some of the details. So if you are in Boston for the BioIT World event or in general, there will be a leadership dinner on the 29th that we would like people to attend on an invitation basis. And so those invitations will be going out this week. Thanks, Gil. That's a good reminder. Brian, did you want to say anything about the content committee and organization there, thereof?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, no, and Sirimon's on the line too. And we are anxious to get this committee off the ground. We feel like we're playing catch-up with the code committee, really, for obvious reasons, being pretty active right now. And with Jay's coming into a more focused leadership with DK, you know, I think that's going to take off. We've got another hackathon coming in London real soon. It's time for us to look at, you know, to really bring the content committee together. And graciously, Sirimon has agreed to co-chair that with me. And and Gil pointed out, it's not only you know, the data and information elements and knowledge bases that could be shareable, that is a big attractor for our community, but also the various kinds of analytics that we are developing or using on various tranSMART platform instances that I think are fair game right now, you know, as a province of the content committee. So those folks that are motivated by data and analytics, if you resonate to those terms, please reach out to Sirimon and I, and we want to call a separate phone con in a few weeks, and Kevin will post out a time. We might just, for convenience, use this time slot, you know, phase shifted 2 weeks because people seem to be able to log on during this time slot, at least many of us. So please contact us. Kevin will send out our contact information, and let's get going so that we can, our near-term objective is to get a nice roster of speakers and activities at the event that's going to happen in hosted by J&J in late June. And so that'll be the initial focus of the activities, planning for that and providing input into that meeting. And we do want to see a balance between the code, the community, and the content elements within that meeting and going forward. Sirimon, do you want to say anything?
Am I probably on mute?
You're unmuted now.
Hello. So thank you very much for inviting me to join this. I'm really looking forward to building things around the content. And we did have lots of feedback from the previous Paris meeting to start building the content on that. And we know that a lot of people have many type of concerns around content. So hopefully we can work together and sort those out.
Great. We'll use that as a starting point for our meeting in a couple weeks.
Fantastic. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks, Sirimon. I see one more question has popped up. Is there a listing of tranSMART version 1.1 open issues anywhere that you know of? Terry, I will turn that over to you.
That's a good question. There is a substantial list of issues in JIRA. I don't know how updated how current it is, and we are currently very actively accumulating issues on the hackathon branch specifically, that is the branch that will become Alpha 1.2. Most of the open issues on 1.1 have either been deferred or have been absorbed into the effort for 1.2. But if you want, Mark, contact me at and I can point you at the JIRA board and get you on there if you're not on and stuff like that.
Great, thanks, Terry. And is the link to that on the foundation website?
The JIRA, I don't know. I'll put a link in the chat window just in case.
Do that, and Kevin, if we could follow up with Tone Creative and make sure that those links are there, that'd be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay, do we have any other questions or any other comments that anyone would like to make? If you do have a comment you'd like to make, just raise your hand in the little webinar window and we can call on you and unmute you. Okay, I don't see anything there. I don't see any further questions. Kevin, did you have any closing comments or statements you'd like to make?
So as we move forward with the face-to-face planning activities, we really want this to be a community-driven event, and the more input we get from our broad community of stakeholders representing service providers, academics, biotechs, pharmaceutical, government organizations, the better the meeting will be. So I just want to reemphasize and echo, I think, what Keith as well as Brian have said. You know, the foundation is taking the lead on getting the face-to-face meeting organized, but the event will only be as good as the input and participation we get from the community. So just to summarize, we need your active involvement in organizing or helping suggest how the face-to-face meeting is put together.
And to add to that, I think anyone who has a particular topic of interest they'd like to see discussed at the meeting or would like to make a presentation, you know, please send that to the organizers, to Kevin or myself in particular with the foundation. And if you would like to be a sponsor of the meeting from your company perspective, we have a number of sponsorship opportunities that are available for that as well. Please contact me for that directly. But as Kevin says, you know, these are your events. These are community events. We're here trying to help organize and to facilitate, but they're only as good as the participation we get from the community. I think that's all we have. If I see any more questions, I don't. I'd like to thank everyone for your time, for your attention, and for your participation. I think the 1.2 project is moving forward well. All of those of you who are participating, really appreciate your help with this. I think it's a fantastic effort, and we're looking forward to having a fully integrated 1.2 by June 20th. If you have any other questions, please send them to us, and we'll look forward to working with you again next month.